This is the Colosseum, where over 400,000 souls met a gruesome fate under the roar of an ancient crowd. But these weren't just fights. They were carefully orchestrated performances, crafted to distract, control, and manipulate the Roman people. And what if I told you that this blood-soaked arena didn't just reflect the fall of men, but may have helped trigger the downfall of the empire itself? The Colosseum, Rome's eternal monument, majestic, intimidating, revered. It's more than just a relic. It's a silent storyteller of power, pain, and politics. As you step into its vast, weathered core, try to listen to the phantom cries echoing from centuries past, the clash of swords, the screams of dying men, the thunderous applause of tens of thousands. This arena, once a stage of suffering, is now admired for its architectural genius. But to grasp the full weight of its legacy, we need to rewind to the empire's most fragile hour. In AD 70, Rome was in disarray. Three emperors had fallen like dominoes. Galba, weak and indecisive. Otho, a short-lived ruler who died by his own hand. Vitellius, brutal and unstable. Then came Vespasian, a military man with sharp instincts. He knew Rome didn't just need stability, it needed a spectacle, a statement. And so he ordered the construction of what would become one of the greatest monuments in human history, the Flavian Amphitheater, what we now call the Colosseum. But this wasn't just a building, it was a symbol, a way to erase the legacy of Emperor Nero, whose lavish golden house once stood on the same ground. Rome was done with decadence and ready to embrace power shared with the people. Construction began in AD 70, and within a decade, a new colossus towered over the city, 48 meters high, spanning nearly 190 meters, with space for 80,000 spectators. Imagine it, a structure as grand as today's largest stadiums, built entirely by hand, stone, and slave labor. When the Colosseum opened in AD 80, Emperor Titus celebrated with 100 days of games. Not games of skill or sport, but of blood, spectacle, and death. For the next 400 years, this place would become the heart of Roman entertainment and a window into its darkest desires, wild beasts, public executions, and most infamously, gladiator battles. But the games weren't just for fun. They were tools of control, weapons of distraction. The emperors knew that keeping the people fed and entertained, bred in circuses, was the key to maintaining order. And what better way to do that than turning pain into pageantry? So, how did this all begin? Gladiator games trace their roots to Etruscan funerals, rituals to honor the dead through bloodshed. But over time, the Romans took this idea and turned it into mass entertainment. Gladiators weren't heroes. They were slaves, criminals, prisoners of war, men with no choice but to fight or die. Now picture yourself, standing on the hot sand, the crowd deafening, your opponent glaring back, weapon in hand. You don't fight for glory. You fight because it's the only way to live another day. These men trained in ludi, brutal schools where they were molded into killers. Their lives were at the mercy of the crowd and emperor. A thumbs up could mean mercy. A thumbs down, death. But here's the twist. Many of these fights were rigged to stir drama, to control narrative, to keep the crowds hungry for more. Weapons were tampered with, armor sabotaged, victories scripted like theater. And yet, amidst all this cruelty, some gladiators gained celebrity status, and a rare few earned their freedom. But for most, the arena was a one-way ticket, and it didn't stop with men. Enter the venation, wild beast hunts, lions, tigers, elephants, even crocodiles imported from Africa, India, and beyond. These creatures were confined, tortured, and released into the arena for sport, sometimes pitted against trained hunters, other times thrown at helpless prisoners. It was savage, cruel. But to the Roman elite, it was entertainment with a message. Defy the empire, and this could be you. The executions were worse. Criminals burned alive, torn limb from limb, all in front of children, senators, and the screaming mob. Violence wasn't hidden in Roman society. It was celebrated. And the Colosseum, its altar. But what lay beneath the arena was just as chilling. The Hypogeum, a labyrinth of tunnels, cages, and elevators beneath the floor. Here, gladiators waited in silence. Animals snarled in the dark. Prisoners prayed for death before daylight. Hidden trapdoors launched beasts into the arena without warning. Elevators lifted warriors into view like magic. It was a marvel of design, with air shafts, water channels, and stagecraft that rivaled modern machinery. Yet it was also a place of disappearance. Many entered the Hypogeum and were never seen again. As time passed, cracks formed in Rome's foundation. By the 4th century, the empire was bleeding from within. Funding the games grew harder. Even the people, once enchanted by gore, began to see through the spectacle. And then came a spiritual reckoning. Christianity was rising, bringing with it new values and moral objections to the brutality of the games. In AD 325, Emperor Constantine, a Christian convert, banned gladiatorial combat. It was the beginning of the end. Over centuries, the Colosseum fell into ruin. Fires, earthquakes, looters stripping its stone, its bones scattered throughout Rome, built into churches, palaces, and fortresses. But the Colosseum refused to vanish. Its shadow remained. Today, it still stands, not as a temple of terror, but as a silent witness to a complex past. Restorations began in the 1800s, and millions now walk its corridors each year. They stand where warriors once fell, where crowds once cheered for blood. The Colosseum is many things: an engineering marvel, a symbol of empire, and a chilling reminder of how easily entertainment can become control. Its stones may be silent, but its story still echoes through time. A story of power, spectacle, and the price of peace in a world built on conquest.